Boxes to Build is back. More club building videos. Some more stuff to show you that I've just got sitting around here. And let's do what's in my drawers while we're at it. Welcome back to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Jim McCleary here. And why is it what's in my drawers? Because old club maker club fitters are tremendous pack rats, and that would be me. And then we got to talking about all that kind of stuff that I was keeping in the drawers in the shop, and it turned into a worldwide discussion. And thank you all for joining us. And this is going to be no different. We got a lot to talk about. Actually, starting out, excuse me, number one. Happy birthday to my sister. I have two younger sisters, and the older one of the two, her birthday is today. And funny, I'll give you a funny story and then we'll move on. So one year, so if you notice, it's like right after Halloween in most cases. And my mom bought a cake for her and just said, I need a birthday cake. And it was for November 1st. And they said, okay. And they made a Halloween cake. And boy, oh boy, don't you make a mom mad when it comes to a daughter's birthday cake. And needless to say, there was a different cake. And we'll go from there. So happy birthday, Liz. All right. So videos. Number one, like, subscribe. That way you get more of the videos when they drop. And we got one coming up. In fact, I got two, but one's coming out. While we were on here, we were talking about the content. So I wrote it down. Content was somebody asked me how to do ferrules without using the machines. And it just so happens I was building a set that was going to Canada. All right, Canada. And so I did. So I showed you, I did a video on gluing the clubs together using epoxy, and then doing the ferrules by hand, and what I do when I do them by hand, and what I do when they are by the machine. And if I can get you it looks a lot like that. There you go. Okay. We also did one on quality, on the quality of what you do before you even build. What do you check before you even build in order to make sure that your build will be good, right? It's like any other job. If you don't start with the right stuff, you don't get the right job out of it. So we got that one. And I did some testing, and we'll go back. I did some testing. So my rep brought me one of these. And what is that, you say? Well, there you go. It is a Callaway Chromesoft Xls. And what would make it different than this one other than its color? This is last year's. This is what's coming up. And of course, just like any other good manufacturer of a golf ball, whatever they make now is going to be better than before. And of course, they promised all kinds of stuff. And the Chromesoft is supposed to be longer. The Chromesoft XLS is supposed to be better. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. Well, taking that one in stride, I did some testing yesterday. And I did a video on this testing, but needless to say, their claims are not unfounded. Okay. Their claims are not unfounded. I tested a pitching wedge, an 8-iron, a 6-iron, and a driver. And in every case but one, the new ball was longer. And not by just a little bit, by quite a bit. So as far as golf ball stuff goes. So that'll be coming out. Shortly. I'm starting to get ahead of the game finally. It only took 11 months in order to get ahead of it. But so all this stuff's coming. That's the reason why you need to subscribe. That's the reason why you need to like. That's the reason why you need to hit that bell. And that's the reason why you'll get all these things when they show up. Okay. Let's get on to the pro golf. And we had the Butterfield Bermuda Championship. And congratulations to Lucas Herbert. Yeah, Lucas Herbert. And I was listening to the last 3 or 4 holes of this one, and he's the first one since Adam Scott that went and won on the European Tour and then came over and won on the PGA Tour right away. I guess Lucas has a couple of wins as recently as 2001 and then came over here. And I don't know if this is his first trip into it or not. But anyway, ended up shooting a -2 to Danny Lee's even. Now, I guess Danny Lee had it in the bag and just basically drowned it in about 3 holes with a double and a couple of bogeys, and then turned around and hit a bunch of birdies after it, and that wasn't enough to make it up. Patrick Reed made a real run at it at -6, so good for them, right? Good for them. Gets them in some points, and there was some other point stuff going on that I don't pretend to understand, but that's where that was going. Okay, so you saw the golf ball. I think, I'm not sure if I showed you these or not, but I got some of those in. I don't know if I showed you last. These are the Denim Wedges. See how they're a little bit, and I'll kind of give you a, there's the silver denim. Okay, silver denim. And they have a kind of an older copper feel to them versus a new chrome-like feel. Okay. This is a X grind, and the X grind's a little wider and a little more heel and toe relief back in here. There you go. You see that where that shiny part is? That's the actual sole, and the rest of it is heel and toe relief right around here. Now this is a 60 degree, so I expect it to be just a hair wider, but that's what the X grind is, and that is a 6 degree. So average low bounce, we'll call it. And then this is the D grind. And the D grind, that's a 56, and you see it's a little bit more, it's not as tour grind roundish kind of stuff right in here. And this one is a 10 degree bounce, although there are more of them. Nice feel. Now, the face, I already did a fitting with this one, and you see how the face is copper again. It's almost a raw finish. I won't say necessarily raw, but it's really close. And the denim will patina, so it'll give it that classic old look. And then you have what would be the standard grind. You don't see a whole lot of removal there, and that's why it's a standard grind. There's a little bit right here in the back and not very much on the front. And this one also is a 56, but this is a 14 degree bounce. So there's various bounces, various grinds, various coatings. I believe it comes in a blue, but there's the 2 big ones, or a black maybe. But the 2 big ones I think this year will be the denim, for the mere fact that it's got copper on the outside, so it will feel softer, right? I've already done a little bit of testing with a few guys in fittings, and the denim will feel softer and than the chrome one. Okay. Now, for all you lefties out there, you're screwed. Me too. All you get is the chrome ones. The denim ones, no. So all you righties, have at it, buddy. Have at it and get with it. All right. Another thing, I just got another boxes to build, so that one I showed you I've got to do, and because we have been building like maniacs, and I'll show you some stuff. But I just got this, a Bridgestone J40. Now, I've got to go through the letter. I haven't read the whole letter, but I'm told I want to make them an inch longer, and this is how they came. So we're going to see what happens there. We're going to see what happens, and see what we can do about, he wanted them spined and flowed and all that kind of stuff, and it's extraordinarily hard to do with the grip on, man. So we'll have to see what that's all about, and to find the flex, because can't hardly do anything with the grip on if you want the true flex. I mean, I can give you close, but the spine and flow is going to be a little different. All right, so we got that, and I believe I showed you guys the ST200, the new one with all the slider weights, so that's a good one. And I did the golf ball testing, so there we are. So Happy Halloween. Hopefully you didn't eat too much candy, and let's get to it. So right at it, and in typical McGolf fashion, yesterday, a little bit of barbecue, right? We did a little barbecue. Those are some burnt ends. On to the left-hand side is a brisket that I must say turned out really well. So I'm happy with that guy. All righty. So, and I had a golf cart that went south on me. We filled it with too much oil because the dipstick broke, and we filled it up to the bottom of the broken piece. And so we took it to the person that would work on it, and there was a golf course nearby. And Bob and I went and looked at it, and he turned around and says, there's some pretty good pictures here. And I said, you know what? You're right. And here you go. That was just from a green. That's down a fairway. There's some more good looks. And the last one, and that was a par 4, and it was a decent iron shot down to the water and then across. Of course, I'm over here on the left underneath of a tree. I took a 7-iron, I sculled a 7-iron, and it got right over the end and hit it right into the bank, popped up and got on the green. Looked exactly like I knew what I was doing. Exactly. It's not the case, but it looked like I was doing. It's a good time. It's called Pine Hills Golf Course, and it was in Ohio. Very, very nice. Very nice indeed. All right. Some builds today. This is, I told you last week we talked about those shafts, the VRTXs. They are taking off. I have to say, I'm quite impressed so far. And we ended up building this guy, the STZ. So this is their standard model. If you look, there's, the carbon fiber on the bottom, carbon fiber on the top with the wave technology in the middle, willow weight in the back, adjustability, the whole 9 yards. Very nice killer of spin. And that's what it kind of looks like at address. It's got a neat it frames the ball pretty nice, I have to say. And then there's the VRTX that's going into it. Okay. Now, I will say that the cool part is this grip that you can't hardly see. That's a Z grip without the cord in it that I got from Callaway. And I thought, well, that's bad karma. So I filled in the Callaway V on there, or the chevron, and you can't even tell it. And so now it looks like a normal grip. So it turned out pretty cool. All righty. Another thing, we did get a shipment in of putters from Mizuno. All right, this is the number 1. We've been waiting on this one because we already had it sold. Cool, nice new blue head cover. It's very heavy duty, I will have to say. The milled putter and a weight kit. They come with a weight kit, a 3 gram and a 13 gram to go with the 8 gram that's in there. Another one is the number 4, and this is a wide body version of the other one that you saw, and again with the same stuff. If I look at it, here's what it looks like at address. That's kind of a wide body look. Nice sight line. We like the black one because of the contrasting color, right? The contrasting color just really makes it look very, very nice. All right, back to these. These are some hot metals going to Canada with the very cool looking black shafts and the red. I think we talked about this, but we'll go through it again. The gray and red going into the black, going into the red again. They just turned out really cool. All right. And another one, the ZX5s. These ZX5s are going to Tennessee. This is going to a Vietnam vet that swings very, very well, I have to say. Neat little set. I do like the A-wedge in this group. And we put some Acra 70s in it, which he absolutely smoked. And then we put some dry tack mids on it to help him with his grip. So there we go. So that's all of it. Hey, we did build quite a bit. Mrs. McGolf was busy being the mix shipping and receiving department all week long. So it's been a real busy week. And thank you for all those that have sent us stuff. And we were trying to get it back out as much as we possibly can. Okay, so do a double check. Yep, we've done all that. Let's go answer some questions. Up to the top we go. Danny Johnson, how are you, sir? Jim, would the Callaway BB21 hybrids be a good fit for somebody with a right-handed swing that normally produces a slight fade? Yes. The BB21s, that's the Big Bertha 21s, are a draw bias club. Now, what does that mean? In this particular set, you won't see that the face is like shut and all this extra offset or anything like that. It's just significantly weighted to give you a to shut the club to help you minimize the fade, slice, whatever we want to call it. But yeah, the real key here is what you want to do is make sure that you have the right shaft in it for you. Like anything else, whether it's the Maverick or anything else that's coming out, the right weight and everything else is also important. But the head itself, yes, very much. Hello, Jason. What's going on? Looking forward to our fitting session on the 12th. Good job. All right. Well, we'll take a look and see what we can do. I do have I'll put you into the test for it, the 6 and the 9, and we'll see what happens. And well, welcome. Kurt, how are you, sir? All right. There, Mrs. McGolf has got that. I think I've got just a little bit. I think yours are sitting on the rack right now with the ferrules getting ready to be finished and gripped, and we will be ready to rock and roll. And they went together very well, I must say. Roger, if someone goes from 105-gram shaft to 80-gram iron shaft, should he be looking at going to lighter shafts in the driver, and irons have more similar swing weights throughout the clubs? Okay, Roger. So as a whole, we know that the irons.
That's the boxes to build that I keep putting in the back burner.
Oh, well, I guess we'll have to do the boxes to build then. Oh, okay. All right, Roger. So we know that irons by design are going to have a heavier swing weight. As a whole, in the day, the drivers are around D2, where the irons are around D4. I think everything's kind of slid to the right a little bit, where the irons actually run a little lighter, maybe in the D2, D3 range, and the drivers run in that D0 to D1 range, and sometimes D2. And so doing that. Now, what you're asking me probably is, if you made the transition from a 105-gram shaft and you went to an 80-gram shaft, should you go lighter in the, and you did well. Let's clarify that you did well. And should you be going to a driver shaft because it needs to be lighter in respect, right? I give it to you like every good golf answer is depends. However, traditionally the answer would be yes. We'll assume a couple of things. When you leave 105-gram to 80-gram, in most 80-gram shafts, you're bucking up against the middle of the regular range to the bottom of the stiff range. So it depends on it, if you're really, really smooth or something along that lines. Now, if that's the case and you are really smooth, could you get away with a 60-gram shaft? Sure you could. But maybe a 50 might be good. You don't want to go as radical as dropping whatever that 25 grams to be equal. No, because that would put you into some 30-gram shaft or 40-gram shaft. And I don't see that working out real well. But maybe something lighter, maybe into the 50 if you're using a 60. If you're into the 50 already, then I would say you're probably pretty light right there. And that would work out very, very well. All right. Charles, you're back, sir. 15, Glenfiddich. And I know where the two fingers are at. It's right on the line of the Titleist logo. So there we go. So where were you? Two fun-filled weekends playing golf in the rain. Ooh. Scores are not good, but that's part of golf's journey, as James Dotson would say. Life gives sorrow. It's up to us to find the happy. Well done, sir. Well, at least you made it back and you didn't get injured doing it. So that you got to look at all the good sides of it, right? Well done. Thomas, hello. How are you, buddy? Patrick, here we go. From Wisconsin. That's where my sister's at that's having her birthday. Light snow flurries. Oh, dude, I don't want to see that yet. I mean, I know it's time. And of course, we just had some day. We went from days in the 80s to days in the 60s. And today, when I got up, it was 39 and it didn't get any higher than 55. And I looked out through the week thinking maybe I can get out this Sunday. And Sunday is supposed to start out at something like 32 and get into the mid 50s. And I'm like, ooh, wee. I mean, I don't mind getting out there at the late 40s or whatever, but 30s, that's a bit too chilly for me. So hopefully that's just a passing fad right now. Basma Prime, what is your preferred RPM for reaming hosels? Steve, as low as you can go. That's the reason why I bought that monstrosity of a drill press from Grizzly. It has a truckload of speeds, and I think it spins at 500. Why I remember this kind of stuff? Like 542 RPM. I don't even know how it gets down because of the way that the pulleys work, but needless to say, it's in the mid 500s, and that's what I use when I do mine out. I don't need them. I've done them in the past with a hand drill, and it was an electric drill that I could control the speed on, but I inevitably to push and grab were synonymous, and didn't work out real well. And I ended up actually biting a bunch of bits. So no, I didn't like that, and so that's why I go slow with this one, and it works extremely well. It actually works pretty good for the end milling part of it too, where you have the end mill bit and you just want to flatten it down on the bottom. And I can't tell you how enough that works out well. And when I was doing the reaming for the my fitting heads, and I was using that same speed to drill out the heads, and it was just chewing it up. So I got to think that that's a really good speed for a lot of that. And there's the sis. She's watching. Well done. Happy birthday. Dave. Fellow lefty in Chile, Michigan. Yep. No denim wedge for you, brother. Sorry. And that's just something that, I mean, do I fault these guys for doing it? Well, heck yeah, I do, because I'd really like to try some. But from a business perspective, no. There may not be enough lefties. And as I understand it, where Mizuno is from, that left-handedness is a thing that most people don't want to be. So I don't know if that's just tradition or that stereotyping or whatever it is, but I do think it is a very cool offering, to be sure. So Chris Vauchal, if you're listening, which I doubt you are, but if you are, us lefties would like some of them D grinds in the denim. All righty. But there's a lot of other stuff out there. I do have to say that. Travis K, New Jersey. Man, Wisconsin, New Jersey. We're all over the place. Chicago. All right. What kind of hoops do you have to jump through to be a heads-only dealer? That is a rare privilege. And you are correct, sir. It is. I should have done it earlier, unfortunately. So I will say this. Number one, you had better have a brick and mortar or a storefront. Okay. Brick and mortar mean a store, and we do. You're seeing it right here. You see me in the shop, and I've got a retail space out there. That's one. So a place where people can come visit. Okay. Number two, you have to be a dealer of that particular brand. And number three, you have to be able to have demonstrated skill sets. And then you have to carry $1 million rider. At least that's what I was told, and that's what I'm doing. I carry $1 million rider. So it's not something that it's something that not most OEMs prefer to do. And that's the reason why. And honestly, when you're talking about a retail type situation, like a big box store where they order 20, 30 boxes of these things and they set them out and their idea is to go through them, that's normally not their business model. It just is not. And a lot of the other component shops, there's still Wishon out there. KZG does that. Alpha, that was the group I was looking for. And there's others that were at one time, they were very high end. And Mura was at one point, there's Mura dealers out there that can do it. But there again, these are all far and few between. So, a skill set, place to sew it off, and your insurance. Russell, how are you, sir? Aloha again. Glad you could make it on. David, how are you, sir? Hope you are well as well. Jim, what is the worst piece of advice you've ever been given about clubs and equipment? The worst piece? Ooh, that's a good one. The worst piece of advice. And about clubs and equipment. Well, let's go with two. One is that I had to buy one of everything and keep a supply on it just in case somebody else wanted something else, and that doesn't work in this business. That was more from retail. I tell you. So I was in Virginia one day and I was visiting a fellow club maker, and I was watching him finish a ferrule. And in the day, they didn't have the felt belts; they had what was a cloth belt, and he didn't cover the end of the shaft, and he cut a circle on it. And this was a fairly expensive shaft. I said, "You just cut a circle on the end." And he says, "Oh, that's okay. You can do this anytime that you want like that. Nobody will mind." Really? Well, needless to say, I didn't follow that either. And I guess the last bit is that get barely what you need to get by. I don't believe in that in a bit. I'm gonna buy the one tool and go. And Mrs. McGolf will be shaking her head as soon as it gets over to her about that, or she'll just agree. So, but that would be it. Don't give it. Don't. The one thing I tell a lot of people is integrity is the only thing that you can give away and never get back. Don't do it. All right, Matt made it on here. Very good. No round. Soccer finally ended. How'd he do, man? How'd he end up? All right, what skills would you work on this winter? My goal is to revamp my pre-shot routine. Well, I do have something I want to do. There's a couple of things I've been looking at, well, whether we're doing it or not, but number one is I want to gain a little bit of swing speed. So just like everybody else, I think I've been bitten by the swing speed bug, and that stack, the stack or the swing speed. I'm kind of looking at the stack. It's a little bit more expensive than the other ones, but everybody's raving about the app that comes with it. That's number one. Number two is obviously, like anybody, you see all this. I want to get in a little bit better shape, and I ended up buying a rower and a concept rower. And man, oh man, you want to talk about getting wore out? Get on a rower. I haven't, I can walk 3, 4, 5 miles, but I can't get past 10 minutes on a rower. So that's something to work on. So between those two, and I'm going to work with my Capto a little bit more too. So I got a bunch of things like that. So hopefully the idea is that my scores all start with 7s next year instead of 8s. All right. Russell, is a tube cutter sufficient for tipping, cutting shafts? What's the recommended heating tool for removing adapter sleeves? Russell, it is very fine to use for tipping of cutting shafts as long as they're steel. If they're steel shafts, yeah, that's no problem. And what you'll end up doing is and the cool part about it is it ends up kind of turning the top of the tube inward, right? So you want to make sure that you sand sand it flat with your hand, or rub it back and forth on some sandpaper and deburr it. All right, and then that way it goes in easily. You can ensure it seats better into the head. That's probably the best thing. If you're looking at graphite, no. But if you're looking for something simple, a rod saw will get you for that. And basically, it's a rod About this is long enough to fit in a coping saw or a coping saw, and it's a grit rod, and that'll cut right through it. As far as heating tool for adapter sleeves, my number one is the Bernzomatic butane torch. The thing's it's probably not that big, right? And it's not over the top expensive, and it runs on butane. So you get a little more precise application of the heat. It runs a little cooler, and you can get going with that. Now, can you use a propane torch that just goes? Yeah, you can, but it's a lot of overkill, and it's really, really big. I've known guys that have used hair dryers. That's probably a long-winded scenario right there. You better have some patience. And then heating guns, I have tried that in the past, but by the time the heat, it's too big of an application of the heat because it's blowing through a hole about 1.5 inches wide, and it's also going to be blowing on the shaft, and it can heat up the shaft, particularly if it's graphite again. All right. I don't know. Emmanuel, what do you say, sir? Happy Monday to you. I look forward to the videos. Well, yep. There. You know what? This last couple of times has been kind of fun. I've changed them from boxes to builds to let's build some clubs because, well, they're not boxes to builds. They're just regular builds, and I've just been picking some really off topics. Like what's weight and quality, and the last one I did for ferrule turning because it became pertinent and somebody asked. So we did that. So, but now we have count them, two boxes to build. So we'll have some fun with that one. All righty. And again, if you guys have any content that you'd like to see on some of these builds, let me know, and I'll try and fit it in. I still have reshafting of a non-plumber's neck putter, which that one, when I finally get to doing one, I'll do that. And stopping a rattle, that's actually a pretty good video if we could do one of those. Did the turning down of the ferrule. Budget builds using FST. So as we talked last week, FST is not going to be making any FST shafts, so that might be a hard one to get to. And sky marks. Sky marks, that's always another one too. It depends on how deep they are, but so we're going to get there. We will certainly get there. Thomas, got a fitting question. Okay, what are we going to talk about? We all would love to fit the whole bag, but do you have a priority putter, wedges, irons, driver? Where is the best bang for the buck? That's a heck of a question. It really is. Okay, so a whole bag. Number one, you started off with the right one, the putter, right? That that club is probably the most used tool in your bag, and it gets the least amount of tension. And and we all go, oh, well, why not? Well, we all know why. It's because it's not an ego-driven club like a driver, right? Nobody has more excitement than busting it by your buddies another 10 or 15 yards, as opposed to being able to. It's the ability to thump your chest and say you did that versus dropping a 20-foot putt versus your buddy's 6-foot putt. It's not the same from an ego point of view. Now, on the scorecard, it's a little different, right? Bob absolutely just tears me up when we get to the green. We put that BJM putter grip on it, and that dude is lights out to the point I make a joke that if he doesn't land outside 40 feet, I think I might get him or I can't get him because at 40 feet, and the dude's he's like on a laser. And that's the only way I can get him is getting to the green first. And but he just absolutely lights out. Anyway, that one. And then I would look at, well, what we kind of do, Thomas, is we go into the irons and we fit an iron to the golfer, and then we talk about wedge play and recommend certain types of wedges that could work for them. And then I go up into the driver, and that covers the bottom, the top, and the middle. Now, if there's a real interest, we can. I do bring out hybrids to check to see if they're hybrids or fairway wood hitters, so that you can put the proper club in your bag as opposed to an overpriced tomato steak. In order to make sure that whatever you put in your bag, you're going to use. That's the most important thing. But you're not too far off. I would, if you're going to do something, putter, irons, driver, right? Those are the big ones that would get you around the course in the best possible way. Now, and if you're going to go add in a fourth, then I would go wedges, and if you add a fifth, I would go on the other side and go the hybrid and fairways. All right, Mike, how's Buffalo? Did you play in the snow? Let's see. I'm guessing from what the final round season, 74. Hey, well done, bud. Well done. Found out today he made the conference team for his collegiate conference. Golf clap for Mike. All right, good job, man. Glad to see that. Look at that. We're gonna be seeing him on TV one day, maybe. All right. Passman Prime, I was hoping to be able to deep my first question where I called you, Dave. No sweat, brother. I didn't even see it. Okay, what's my preferred RPM when well, I already said it, so we're good. Adam Cattell, good evening from England. Adam, thank you so very much for staying up late, sir. And if you got a question, ask away. All righty. Oh, yeah, that'll be fun. I tell you what, get ready. I'm going to put you to work, Matt. Right-handed only. So maybe we can talk about that and the driver, right? Maybe we get you in on some of that. What do you guys think? A Jim and Matt show again for a while. That could be fun. Sally's going to be going, oh, not again. But yeah, it'd be fun. All right. Fraser Gerard, how are you, sir? From beautiful British Columbia. And it's beautiful British Columbia. I'm trying to see, what is that on the picture? Maybe it's a picture of British Columbia. Well, thank you for showing up, Fraser. Thank you very much. There we go. Nice. It was. I mean, I kind of got proud of myself on this one. Normally, I always got to pick it away, but I found a barbecue sauce. It was called Blue Hogs. It's from, I think it's Memphis. And they got 3 different kinds. Man, very, very good stuff. Yes, it was. And you know what? Here, what I didn't show you is on the grill behind me, I was cooking, I did chicken wings. Well, I started off with the chicken wings were supposed to be Saturday and this stuff was supposed to be Sunday, but the wings never thawed out properly. So I'd put the marinade on them, and you just can't leave them in there for a week like that. So I had to do them. Darn the bad luck. Well, I got to tell you, lunch was pretty good today. Dipstick. Yeah, so the dipstick, I'm trying to think what that would be. It's the rod that you put into the engine casing to measure the level of the oil. They call them dipsticks. And because you dip and it's a stick. I'm sure there's a real name for it, but that's what we've always called it. And then when I always want to call somebody a goober, that's what I call them too, is a dipstick. Yeah, it was. It was a very nice course. It took me 17 holes to realize I played there many, many, many years ago. But for the amount of play and the cost and everything, it was super duper nice. When that thing, and we were playing, it was a little soft, so we probably got a lot of breaks. But when that place is firm, boy, oh boy, get ready. There's a couple of places where it can eat your lunch pretty good, but I like it. It was a good one overall. All right. Samson, hopefully I say this one. Bodefeld? All right. Thank you. Thank you again. Question about tape. Is it a problem if grip tape is too narrow? I have a tape which is about 1.9 inches wide and leaves a little gap at the bottom of the shaft. Do you work fine? No. That'll be fine. The idea of grip tape is to ensure to ensure that there's some level of bonding between the grip and the in the shaft. Now, people are blowing on grips and they say, oh, you don't need it. Back in the day, they used to, the folks, I think it was a Golf Pride, told us that they actually made the insides of that to calculate in that extra layer of tape. Whether they do or not, I don't know, but we've never blown them on, so no, that's just fine. Now, if it made you nervous, Samson, if it made you nervous, you could also do the ping and wrap it around there so that you had a continuous line. But no, the 2-inch, basically it's a 2-inch stuff. The 2-inch is fine. Just make sure it's double-sided and it is not carpet tape. All right, it's actually made to be grip tape. All right. Slats, what's going on? Moore Park, California. Man, we've got it covered. We got Canada. We've got both coasts. We're across the water. And we get our buddy from Bogota, and we'll be surrounded. How are you, buddy? Explain what trimming is and the factors you have to take into consideration. Trimming. Okay. So let's use this boxes to build as an example. So if you get a naked shaft, tip's not abraded, no grips on, okay? And we're just doing the whole thing. When you're talking about trimming, right, which is the question of what do you trim for flex and why? All right, and the easiest answer is that you tip trim for flex and you butt trim for length. Okay. Now to get a little bit more technical, okay, to get a little more technical, we're going to use a single club now. All right. So if you have, this is naked and this is naked, it's all empty, and you tip trim here, and let's just say you take off this much, right? That means that on a hole, a certain amount has to come off of here. Okay. And what you're grabbing here is important. All right. And the more that's here, the stiffness actually comes from grabbing on the butt end. I know that's kind of different. So length, butt, profile, all come into consideration for for trimming. To bring it back down to earth, what you do is you tip trim for the most part for flex. These are all parallel shafts, okay? And then you butt trim to length. And what's happening is that you're moving the butt further out as you tip trim in order to gain your flexibility or to maintain your flexibility. Now, if you have taper tips, it's butt trim only, because as a parallel shaft is all normally one length. They're all normally one length. And so you're trimming you're trimming the tip to get to a certain frequency, and this is changing every time you move this moves for the head and all combines to give you a flex. When you do a taper tip, the tip section's already been taken into accountability and it's starting to do this, and normally they're constant weight, so this extra weight that you've just taken off over here is applied through the rest of the shaft until you butt trim again for length. Hopefully that worked out. Hopefully it helps you out. Alrighty. Yes, it does, Fraser. It does look very, very nice. It's very cool, actually. The movable weights are neat, but I have talked to Vauchal about it, and they're only 7 grams. So if you only move one, you're really not doing too much. You're not going to have a ginormous amount of impact, not even a whole lot in the way of tweaking. So what you really have to do is either separate them so that you have a big difference, or you pile them on one side to get where you want to go. That's a trick that I'm sure that most of the normal fitters probably won't do. All right, Patrick, here we go. The shank shop. I like that. That's pretty good. Well, maybe I don't like it, but it looked cool. How different is your machine CPM with grip versus no grip? How much softer will a club play average with adding? Okay. So, bunch of questions to unpack. Number one, difference between grip and no grip. Again, it depends. Mrs. McGolf and I have done some testing on this, to be honest. And a regular rubber grip, there's about 12 CPM difference. A larger grip, like a jumbo grip, it gets closer to between 15 and 18. And then the wind style grips are closer to 20. All right. And so that's a lot. So the grip actually acts as a shock absorber or an absorber of CPM. So you have to add numbers in order to do that. And that seems to be, and that's using a clutch clamp, so it breaks away at the same amount each time. It's not me adding more to get to it. It's just that that's what the numbers bear out. Okay. Now, other folks with other frequency machines have come very, very close to those same numbers. So we should be good to go there. All righty. So that's one. How much softer will a club play on the average by adding a half of an inch or an inch? Well, I don't necessarily know if you're talking about adding an inch or a half of an inch, making it softer per se. You might actually find that it goes, it might go the other way because just as we were talking before, slats have really put us into it, that it might actually give you more butt section to grab. Therefore, it might actually go stiffer. Now, I did do that. Those guys right back there, I measured those. Let's see if I still have them. Let's see, maybe right here. What do I got? Nope. I made a chart, and it turns out that for the same amount of tip trimming for my frequency, if I go out from standard to an inch, I actually went up in frequency, meaning more stiff, by just a little bit. All right, so now so this is going to be a whole lot of folds here, bud. If you're going to add a half of an inch, then you will probably end up trimming either a little bit less and then checking it to see. A half of an inch on my charts is worth about 4.5 CPM. All right, and that's a half of a flex. Yes, half of a flex, where an inch would be one full. So keep an eye on that. All right. Oop, went too far yet again. Daggone it. All the way up here. Boy, we got some answers here. Okay. Bzzzt. There's slats. Nice. Left-handers. This could be a lefty show all of a sudden, except we got Matt and Charles with us. All right. Here's Adam. Trying to find you on Instagram and Facebook, but when I search I am McGolf and McGolf Custom Clubs, nothing comes up. Can you send me a link? Well, let's see. Let's see if that's going to happen. I don't know if I can search that or not. Well, I probably wouldn't work for me because I'm already on there. Let's see. Well, Facebook, if you look up, let's see if I can go there. No, got to go back here. Mrs. McGolf probably is already helping you out. But, yeah. Got to go back here. Mrs. McGolf probably is already helping you out. Right. How about that? It showed up. My live stream was already on there. But McGolf Custom Clubs, yeah, it should. Robin will probably help you out here in a big. All right. Huge lag. All right. Oh, check out the the puppet. All right. I've been restoring golf clubs for clients in the Middle East for the last year. Nice. And I work out of my garage. Can you give any advice for a fairly new club tech? You are the top dog. Well, thank you, buddy. If you've been restoring for folks in the Middle East, you're doing pretty good because that's one heck of that's becoming quite the golf mecca. People are getting interested in that to the point that PGA Tour. The two things I will tell you, the two things I will tell you about this whole thing is, number one, treat it like a business. Don't treat it like a hobby. If you're looking to advance, treat it like a business, not like a hobby. And we used to do this when I was in the Professional Clubmakers Society and was still along. We used to give training in that, and I did about a day long on doing business, right? And I would bring other guys that were even more success. There was lots of them more successful because I was poor in that arena until I just started taking my own advice. Anyway, treat it like a business. The other one is never stop learning. Right? Never stop learning, enjoying what you're doing. The minute you stop liking what you're doing, it becomes real work and not something that you would do very, very well at. And I know it sounds cliche-ish, but in this particular instance, it's the truth. Get a crew, and don't be afraid to don't be afraid to put up your work on a website, on social media. Get some serious backing with that. It was great golf weather. It was. I was really surprised. We thought it was going to get rained on, and we got right by it. And the thing is that being in 30 is frost delays. Some courses will make you wait until the frost clears. And you would be correct, sir. This lefty don't golf under. I'm with you, brother. I am with you. 45 degrees. There we go. Uh-oh. Big rest. Broke my Venice black with Velocore on the range yesterday. Ooh. Bought it second hand and gamed it for 6 months until failure. Any suggestions how I can go about getting a replacement? Partner, if you got it as second hand, the only place that, let's say, Second Swing Golf is a second hand place. If you got it from there, you may be able to do something with them. But normally, just like an eBay thing, once you break it, you broke it, and it's on you. The only other way that you can possibly do that is contact Fuji. I think they do the Ventus. Yeah. Contact the Ventus people directly and tell them what happened and see what they'll do. They will probably direct you to a dealer first, but either one, you're out of luck, or two, call ahead and talk to the folks that make the Ventus, which I believe is Fuji. Is it really? I don't know. Anyway, and see what they say with that. All right. Get down here to the bottom. Krister's there. We now have went all around the globe. We need that one. We need one dude from Australia that comes on here, and we'll hit a home run. Hopefully your shoulder's feeling better, sir. Hope and that everything comes around. I saw that you got your club in. How would you think of that triple black diamond? That looked like a really, really nice one. All right, Patrick Barman from Indiana. Hoorah! Great channel. Thank you, sir. Want to explore the idea of switching iron shafts from steel to graphite? What considers would be made? How do the shaft flex and weight translate between the two? Perfect question. Well done. Okay. Number one, Patrick, I used to live in Logansport, and so did Mrs. McGolf. That's where we met, so hopefully you're in the north somewhere. Going from steel to graphite should not be very problematic at all. Flex is flex. So number one, flex is flex. It doesn't matter the material, graphite or steel. You see that's steel right there, and down here is nothing but graphite. And there are a few shafts in here that are much more stiffer than those that are right up there. So that's number one. What I would say is there's a couple reasons why you would leave steel to go to graphite. Number one is a medical reason. Arthritis is one, or you have a joint that hurts, shoulders might, and every time you hit with steel, it just puts the stinging sensation right into your body, and it virtually hurts, right? We don't want that. Graphite is a tremendous shock absorber. All right, it's a big time shock absorber, and that's why you would use it for that. Now, number two, if you are a smoother swinger, chances are you would like a lighter shaft anyway, right? Doesn't the flex again is irrelevant. You can get a lighter shaft that is just as stiff as the steel you're leaving and have that same amount of control. Now, if you're a massively aggressive guy, probably not where you want to go. Okay. But you do want to do the, but if you're smoother, and there's probably more to choose from in graphite than there is in steel. So the choices can be almost endless, but there's quite a few that you can get. So that's where I would look at. The other one is it will cost more because graphite costs more than steel, and in order to get that. And there are plenty of really, really good manufacturers out there. All right. Matt Spoon, what do you say? Do you stock the BB&Fs? No, I do not. Although I am in communication with them, so if we need to get something, I can get it for you. Instead of you having to order it, just let me know and then we can get it. Designer ferrules. I don't know if designer ferrules is necessarily it, but I can get a hold of some colors. You saw the red. I can get red, blue, orange, purple, that kind of stuff, pink, green, solid ferrules, mostly all for irons, but yeah, I can get those. All right. And there's Robin saying what we do. So there we go. All righty. Dave saying I only game the Ping Glide 3.0 wedges for spin retention when wet and dewy in the morning. Well done, sir. Well done. Okay. Here we go. Here's a new name I haven't seen. Oh, yes, I have. Brian Pasmeko. Hopefully I said that right. I'm sorry. Edmonton. Man, here we go. Very well. 21 degrees. Ooh, oof. It's coming on us, isn't it? Yeah. The Farmer's Almanac says we are going to have a really crazy winter, so get ready. Geese couldn't land on the lake this morning. Driving to Arizona for the winter next week. Good for you. Good for you. All right, be building a set of single links when I get there. Patterson shafts. Yes. I get asked that a lot lately. Now, the reason why do I say that a lot for Patterson shafts? Number one, I'm not affiliated. Number two, I do know what they used to be, and I used to carry a lot of that, and it is a wound shaft, all right? And the guy running this group is a little different, and he's very scientific, and I really think that's cool. Now, the reason why I'm so into the Patterson shaft is because he has taken the time to design a shaft that goes for single length. And then not only for that, but he gives you a little bit extra height on the tall irons, that piercing shot or the regular shot for the mid irons, and then the controlled shot for the lower irons. It's basically his version of flighted shafts for single lengths, and you can never go wrong with that. I think it's a great idea, to be honest with you. Seb is here. Can you explain how a 3-wood shaft is 70 grams when the driver shaft is 60 grams when they are both cut from the same 46-inch shaft? Shouldn't the driver be heavier due to the length? No, as a matter of fact, it goes the other way around, Seb, because the head is heavier on the 3-wood by only about 15 grams, but it's also about using standard lengths right now, it's about 2 inches shorter. So with 2 inches shorter, you're talking that's a truckload of swing weights, and that has to be made up with the 15 extra or 20 extra grams on the far end, and then the added weight. So yeah, you're going to be shorter, which means you need to be heavier. And then what they want is, and that's feel, right? And then what they do is you're not going to necessarily trim it exactly 1 inch or whatever. You might trim it a little bit less so you get a little bit more snap with the 3-wood. All right. You know what, Charles? You're not wrong. In hitting the golf balls, those guys, I was reaching back a little bit further, and I was meeting the ball pretty well. I was really happy with it. So I'm going to stay with it. It's not the most dynamic. You don't get bored because you can't stay on there for very long. But there is an app. I'm just now. It's been like a couple of weeks, and there is technique to rowing, and I'm just now getting to the point where I think my technique might help it out in order for me not to hurt something. But man, I tell you what, it can be an enjoyable thing. You just kind of go unconscious for about 10 minutes and just pull on that thing and go. It's fun. All right. My alpha doesn't feel smooth. Uh-oh. First TrackMan data shows average 113. All shots end up way on the left-hand side. Think about a retrofit. Well, that shaft you got in there is pretty stout, Krister. I mean, it's very, very, very stout. So I wouldn't. This wouldn't surprise me for you. However, it's also a very open club. That club will sit open. That's the whole idea of double black diamond. The other part is that your shoulder hurts. So if you're throwing around 113 mile an hour with that shoulder, you the man, right? You are the man when it comes to that. And just make sure that that's not getting in the way of getting your club closed. Golf swings. Any idea how ferrules are made, specifically BBF ferrules? How do they get the layers and rings? What sort of plastic? How are they made? Individual sheets punched out. Oh, okay. Actually, I kind of old school. I know how. I can only assume they're doing the same thing. Okay, so ferrules. Ferrules is a plastic, right? And so what you have is a plastic mold that makes the base ferrule. That part, right? That part right there. It makes the base part. This is what they come in. So you see solid colors, some with chrome on. Well, no, that's just solid colors. All right. Then what you do is that you get rings, and they have a post, and you put this ferrule on this post, and then you put the rings on top of the post, and you basically glue them together. And whatever it is that you want to do, and then once the glue is dried, you sand the outside to get the shape that you want, and voila, you're there. It used to be a thing in the day. I used to keep rings. It was like a little tackle box. It was about the size of my phone, and about this deep, and it had different color ferrules: white, silver, black, and one other color. Anyway, we'd layer them on to copy other ones, and then you would turn them down until they looked like the rest of the clan. And it was a real skill there for a while. But then the difference between that and mass producing, it just wasn't worth keeping and doing. But I do know how they're done. You just glue them together. Even the BB and Fs, I've had a couple of them where the rings will have come apart, but they're not damaged. And I just put a little drop of glue and finish them off like I've done in the past. No problems. But that's how they're done in the past. I can only imagine that's how they're done now. Now I will say this, they do have some of those what they call crackles or lightning ones where they got speckles in them. I think that's on the same plane as powder coating, where you have to you put in this certain stuff and you pour it in and you shake it up and it gives you that particular look, because it's not a pattern, it's all random. All righty, clarification. Project X Catalyst 80-gram irons. Okay. Ooh, 80 gram. Those are serious clubs. All right. Current driver shaft 65, 4 and 7 or 65 wedges DG. Should consider a 55 in the woods, 90 in the wedges. I would look at let's start with the wedges. I would look at a 90 or a 105. Right? A 90 or 105 in the wedges. 80 gram. The 65 in the woods could be okay, but going down into the 50s probably would be more in line with what your feel would be. Is that going to be the cure-all, end-all? No. Before you go dislodging the driver, I would go and try a few out first just to make sure, right? Again, also make sure that you are, got the right length to make sure that works, because when you go lighter, it's going to be lighter in the tip, just like you did when you went to the Catalyst. Catalyst is a nice shaft, by the way. I do like them. And theirs, that's probably close to a stiff. So again, it depends. If it's not bothering you, I wouldn't mess with it. But if you have that concern, give it a try. Right, go to the lighter shaft and see what happens, and we'll go from there. Uh-oh, I'm getting the look. Golf Swings is from Toronto. Man, we've got it going on now. All righty. Krister's current drivers, the 110 MSI. Yeah, that's pretty stout. Yes, the Vista Pro will probably be a little less. It'll still be stiff, but it won't be nearly as rugged as that one. All right. And LS from Canada. We got the Canada contingency happening. Maybe it's because everybody's getting cold. All right, we'll keep doing this. Forgot to gone over TI winter time. Show you store starts an hour earlier. Aha! Well, easier for you. Very good. I'm glad. Sonny V, where you been, brother? Played last game here this year. 41. Woo! Yeah. And the toque. It gets a little windy. Yeah, I guarantee you. We're right there, man. I'm not doing the cold gloves. If I gotta do the cold gloves, it's done. Charles, where I live, is about 6 months to the next golf season. You bet. All right. Jerry Smiley's back from Texas. He's the warmest of us all so far. Oh. Am I going to have a garage sale this year, or did I miss? I don't think I've ever had a garage sale. Well, not one for golf, but I do have a couple of items, though, if you get interested. I think I've still got my old frequency machine that I was using. You've seen a lot of the videos that comes with the chart that you see me use. That's actually calibrated to that machine. That's available. I think the rest of it's been pretty much gone. All righty. Here we go. Pee-wee. You asked me that. Callaway, you would. I think it's cool. Honestly, if it does what they say it's going to do, and it's as upright or as easy to use as they say it is, it will have a limited appeal. But for you being over there, in England or you're over there across the pond. The keeping it out of the wind is going to be a little bit of an issue, I would imagine, because it's more like a 5 wood, so it's probably going to get up in the air quite a bit. On a calm day, you'd probably hit the crap out of it, because I know you hit the ball far. All righty, JT Dalton. Ooh, and I like the old Dr. Pepper logo. That's pretty cool. When you're doing builds, will you show when you flow the irons if a customer requested? Yeah. If you go back and look, I've done a few on some club builds. Not very many of them, but I have done some. But I will put that in this boxes to build, since this guy asked for some of that. And so did our other fellow that was on here too. So yeah, we'll do some of that. Okay. I never, for all of a Pewee, I was like, oh my God. Okay. And I am a Star Wars fan, so that's pretty cool. Not Pee Wee as in Herman. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, bud. Bobby Marston, how are you, sir? Just went on the Mizuno site, and the Wedges show are not there. Do you know when they should be offering to the public? Bobby, the only reason why they're not there, I think, is they're struggling a little bit with the denim models. I kind of snuck in and made my order early, so they fulfilled mine. And that's the only reason why you don't see them on there, is I don't think that they're totally ready to show them. Okay. Outside of that, I can't tell you. Now, normally the release date on a lot of those is supposedly, well, no, it was October, so they should have them up there. There's Mr. Wiggins. Ta-da! Sunny V, can you do a video on the fitting parameters of your launch monitor? Interested in them all, but specifically speed, profile, club acceleration. What that means to club selection. Yeah, we could get into some of that. Let me write. Yeah, fitting stuff. Oh, yeah, fitting stuff. Okay. Grayling Slayer. Now, okay. I don't get a chance to listen live, but here I am from Alaska. You are the man. Let me see you sitting in a raft. I know that. Got your dog with you. That's awesome. Well done. Well done, sir. Do you do a lot of hard stepping in your fittings? Not necessarily. No, I do not. I get what's there, and if it turns out we're just a little bit off, then I will suggest it. Couple more, and then we're done. Mrs. McGolf and Nick. Did we tell them about Nick? We did not tell them about Nick. Okay. All right, Danny. Got fitted for a putter a few weeks ago. I was told I needed more toe hang. Bought a Seymour Giant putter and used it Saturday. Felt really good. 79 with 2 double bogeys. Well, good job, buddy. Good job. All right. The only reason why I didn't tell you, I should have told you guys earlier on. Nick, short for Nicholas, because he was born on Christmas, and we named him after Jack, so it was a twofer, right? He is getting on 13 years old, and last week he was diagnosed with cancer, and it's the lymphoma type cancer, and so we are all pretty much taken back by it, and we don't like it, but we understand it. It's 13 years, which is good for a very large dog, and he has, we will miss him because our dogs are part of our family. And, but we'll keep him, we've got him on some medications to keep him going, and we'll just keep you guys on the update. But we really, really hate to have that happen to a dog. All righty. Woo. All of a sudden, there's a whole bunch. Grayslinger, have you helped me so much? I built 2 sets. Thank you. Well, you're more than welcome, sir. There's Lombard. Jack, how are you doing, sir? Mr. Poleski, how are you, sir? That's a heck of a picture you got there for Canada. No, they do not. There's Camelio. There we go. Now we got all the 4 corners. We figured we wanted the get all 4 corners around the U.S. Nicely done. Thank you. There we go. Any comments on the HMBs? I think I'm blending a set with these. Any advices? Yeah, I have 1 set of those left, Camilio. They're very, very nice. They're a hollow-bodied blade-like iron. They're a little stronger than most of their Mizunos with very little offset. I think it is their version of the Player's Distance model, and it is excellent. They have had very, very good luck with a lot of those. Unfortunately, they don't go down to the pitching wedge, but it's a good little set. Scrunchy, I think you're right. All right, Henry, struggle with the 3-wood. I dare say I might rival it on 10 to straight pull or power draw the shots. So a couple of things, Henry. There's a multitude of different things. Number one, the thing could be too long or too short. I don't think necessarily the weight might not be it. The other one is your angle of which you come into the ball. If you're not a very decent fairway wood hitter, I would seriously consider a very strong lofted fairway or a hybrid, like a 18 or 16 degree type hybrid, and give that a whirl and see what happens. Because we do that a lot in here, and the very same thing that you're mentioning happens. And I will give them a 4 hybrid, and they will outdrive the 3 wood by easily 30 yards. So again, that's a high-priced tomato steak in your case, and see if there's something else that might not help you out. Is it uncommon to have a 50-gram driver shaft and a fairway wood shaft? Typically, you want to see something in the 60s. Uncommon, maybe. Is it unnecessary? No, not at all. JT found that sometimes taking a longer backswing is not only for more power, but allows hips to set and allows more time. I would agree. I would have to agree. All righty. I see a couple more. Robin has given me the sign. I have to get going. And there's Kent. Nicely done, sir. Just got back from the weekend from golfing with Corrine Binks, golfing princess. Jeff pitch and putt golf and Paul Jackson golf. Nice. Well done. I'm glad you had a good time, sir. Glad that was happening. All righty. Let's get back in here. I got a couple more. We are 15 minutes over, guys. Mizuno 10 weeks lead orders in the UK. Well, we're down to 2 to 3 from 6 to 8, so we're doing something a little bit better. Yeah. Yes, it was a Grayling. That was the older ones, buddy. All righty. It looks like we got down to the bottom, and you heard that last whine. That was my other dog telling me it was time to go. Guys, again, all over the planet today. That was awesome. And lots of really, really, really good questions. I really enjoy that. I appreciate the time and effort and the staying up late. I know you guys are staying up late over there. We're getting ready to get into a time change over here, so it might go back around. We'll never see. We'll see what happens. Again, guys, thank you for checking in from all over the place. It's great. Thank you for the questions. Watch out for the videos. And as always, let's see your scores go low.